Okay, this video is called What's in Your Toothpaste? And we're going to also talk a little bit about interdental brushes. Here's an interdental brush. I actually use these things. I don't use this brand. I use these little green ones. But this is what you basically do. You just run them between the little space between your teeth. That's the main thing you want to do, is get the food particles out from in between your teeth. And the most important thing to do is to do it before you go to bed at night, because at night your saliva production drops, so your teeth are more vulnerable to cavities. And if you have a little piece of food stuck in between there, it can be a nidus for bacteria to grow, and then they produce acid, and the acid can erode your teeth and give you a cavity. So again, that's all you got to do is rub this little thing between your teeth at night, clear out those spaces. It's good to rinse your mouth with water. I'll always rinse my mouth out with water after eating to get little particulate debris out of the mouth, but then you'll still have some stuck between the teeth, and then these interdental brushes are good for that. Floss is also good for that, but you want to watch out for the flosses. You don't want to use, some of the floss contain PFAS. There's like a form of fluoride on there that you don't want, and it's like Teflon, real like a non-stick cookware, but it's bad. You don't want to be ingesting that stuff. Okay, here's a little bit about the chemicals in toothpaste. Fluoride is toxic to the brain. It lowers IQ. You don't want to use fluoride. You never want to use fluoride. You always want to avoid it. You want to filter it out of your water with reverse osmosis filter beneath your kitchen sink as well. Carageenan is bad. And fluoride, by the way, it's bad for your testicles, lowering sperm counts. It increases the risk of cancer, increases the risk of autoimmune disease. There's nothing good about it. There's been children died from it when they made it taste too good, made it taste like bubblegum, and these kids would eat it and they would die from it. That's why they say only have a pea-sized amount. Spit it out when you're done. If you swallow it, called a poison control. It's freaking toxic, rat poison. Okay, carageenan's an emulsifier. It can cause leaky gut. It's bad. Increases the risk of cancer. It can contain MSG. It's bad. The more you look at this, you say, look how toxic this stuff is. Because, every stupid person says, oh, you have to brush your teeth. That's really good for you. Yeah, right. Look at all these chemicals. Triclosans, antibacterial, pretty toxic. Increased risk of hypothyroidism, cancer. Now it's been banned from some places. Artificial dyes, no health benefits. They have some association with hyperactivity, attention deficit disorder. A lot of food dyes are mitochondrial inhibitors. Parabens, parabenzoic acids, preservatives, estrogenic chemicals, endocrine disrupting, bad. Sodium lauryl sulfate is a foaming agent, can be relatively toxic, irritate the mouth, cause canker sores. It's been called cytotoxic in research papers. It can also be called SDS, sodium dodecyl sulfate, sulfuric acid, sodium sulfuric acid, etc. Another thing, cocamidopropyl betaine, hard to say name, cytotoxic. I saw some papers on it saying don't use that stuff. Hydrated silica, some papers said it's too abrasive, can scrape away enamel or dentin, making the tooth sensitive, leading to gum recession. Propylene glycol, surfactant. Okay, so there's all these problems. The sweeteners are bad, saccharin's carcinogenic, aspartame's a neurotoxin. Titanium dioxide, I've heard, is toxic to the gut. There's a good video, I'll try to link to it, Dr. Gerald Curatola. He has a good video at Real Truth About Health where he talks about how toxic toothpaste is. Of course, he's a dentist. He's biased because he makes his own brand, so of course he's going to be biased. But it was still kind of nice to hear a dentist, giving honest opinions about how toxic all this stuff is in toothpaste. All right, so now I'll show you some of the other stuff. I got a lot of pictures coming up here. Here is Crest toothpaste, and this was tested by our friend lead safe mama lady, Tamara Rubin. And Crest had really high lead levels, about close to 8,000 times higher lead than what is the action limit for lead. So that's not good. It had triple the amount of mercury for action level, being concerned about it. Arsenic a little high. So I don't think it's totally over it. I would never use a fluoridated toothpaste. And isn't that worse? It's got fluoride and lead. Other thing is, if you've got amalgam fillings like from previous cavities, you don't want to rub the toothbrush over the amalgams because you can stir up mercury from the amalgams. Also, you don't want to hold your cell phone to your mouth. That can stir up mercury from the amalgams. The highest risk of amalgams is when they're first put in, and then when they take them out. Like, let's say you get a cavity around and they take them out. That can generate a lot of mercury going into your body. Like I said too, you don't want to brush over the top of them. One risk factor for cavities is also if a person's taking a medication with anticholinergic side effects. And I told you, if you want to see a good video of mine, if you haven't seen it or heard me talk about it already, check out my video called "Who is the Crazy One?" It's a long story, but my father pressured me to take a medicine that had anticholinergic side effects, and I got some cavities from that. I had never had a cavity before up until that time. Trust me, if you see that video, you'll never forget it the rest of your life. Okay, here's Tom's of Maine. You know, Tom's of Maine has sort of like the health halo greenwashed celebrity status amongst toothpaste, but look at this, it had really high lead levels as well. You know, close to 5,000 times higher lead. There shouldn't be any lead in the toothpaste, okay? It also potentially had issues with arsenic, etc. Okay, now here's Sensodyne, another toothpaste that sort of pretends to be soft and gentle and wonderful, and it's also fluoride toothpaste, which is neurotoxic, okay? So I love the way, you know, you're using a neurotoxic toothpaste with fluoride in it. Then you've got municipal tap water, typically with neurotoxin fluoride in there, neurotoxin aluminum in there. And then a lot of these toothpastes have lead in them. So right there's 3 major neurotoxins, and a lot of them are positive for mercury too. 4 major neurotoxins. How could that be good for you? Okay. What's her name? Ruth Heidrich, you know, the great lady who survived over 40 years. She's still alive from metastatic breast cancer. She said she'll just brush with the toothpaste with no toothpaste on it. The toothbrush with no toothpaste on it, which to me sounds like an intelligent thing to do. Okay, now here this lady, Lead Safe Mama, tested a whole bunch of other toothpaste. Here's the names of all these toothpaste, and she said every single one of them was positive for a significant amount of lead. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And she didn't even have Crest on there. And Sensodyne's not in there. And Dr. Bronner's not in there. They all tested positive, significant amounts. Okay, here's Dr. Bronner. Dr. Bronner is another one of these things that kind of has a claim to so-called health halo. And it was high in lead. Not as bad as the other ones, but still pretty high. Okay, and then here's what I was talking about, PFAS, these fluoride chemicals from like nonstick cookware. They put them on the Teflon-like material onto the dental floss to make it glide better, and that's toxic to you, so you be careful not to use that. I do sometimes use floss. I use the cheapest possible one you can get, and it's kind of a crappy floss, but that's good as far as I'm concerned, so it doesn't have any of this non-stick stuff to it. I always tend to like the simplest possible product if I'm going to use one at all. This is just some paper about PFAS exposures to women who were using dental floss with this stuff on there. Okay, and so then here, what am I going to tell you? At the end, I'm coming to like these Waterpik toothbrush. The first time I was told about Waterpik toothbrush, it was like one of my sons said, "Dad, why don't you try it? I like it." I go, "Oh, bullshit, I don't want to do this." And he goes, "Just try it." So I tried it, and it was like I splashed water everywhere. It was a big mess. I'm like, I don't want this thing. It's annoying, you know. I'm just going to floss and use these little interdental brushes. But then my girlfriend said, "Oh, you should use Waterpik. It's good." And I'm like, what do you know? You know, why should I bother with this crap? But just to humor her, I did it. And you know what? I liked it because I real quick could use that thing to push it. The water pushes the particles of stuff out of your mouth. And plus, once you use that, use reverse osmosis water. It's a reminder to rinse your mouth and then spit it out. So I liked it. I real quick just push the stuff out from in between the teeth. I still go over it with the interdental brush, but I'm finding that I barely even need to go over the interdental brush. Plus, when you rinse your mouth out after you accumulate all this water in your mouth, you got to keep your mouth closed so you don't get water all over yourself. It can be kind of messy. You have to plug it into the wall, fill it with reverse osmosis water, push the on button, and then when you push the hand button, the water comes in, and you just blow out the space in between the teeth, and it actually works kind of well. I'm liking it now. I used to think it was a stupid, messy pain in the butt, but now I'm liking it because it's a way to avoid all those chemicals in toothpaste. So, anyways, I hope you found that helpful.